Once in a while, a project comes across my bench that's so deeply personal, inspiring this urge to just connect and reminisce. Once in a while, these things will come across my bench, something so deeply connecting me to my past and to the client that I just feel compelled to just talk about it and just do my best. Now, I do my best with everything, just know that. But this is so deeply personal. I do thank you guys for joining me. Again, sorry for getting all sentimental and romantic with you. This is a Forgotten Gear Restorations. We're going to be looking at a 1978 Fender Twin Reverb that is looking for love in all the right places. Welcome back. Thanks for taking me to 4,000 subs, you guys. It's been one hell of a grind, one hell of a journey, but I'm glad you've been along throughout it all. Take it easy. Bye. Good morning, you guys. Welcome back. So this is once in a while I'll get look, all amps are special. All guitar amps give people like me who can't express into words how they feel or what they're trying to get across, they give us a voice. For other musicians, it could be a piano. If you're articulate, well, you've got your own voice. But that's not me. And that's not a lot of you goons out there either, I suspect. If you're looking at guitar amps, then maybe you're like me, I don't know. They give you your own voice. You speak through your fingers and you speak through your gear. And you directly impart emotions to the listener. It's so direct. It's more direct than words, right? It's an immediate and mainline connection to someone's spirit. It's spirit to spirit communication. That's what music is for me. And that's one of the things that makes this particular project so special. Every now and then I'll reference my dad, who had passed on a few years ago. I reference him. He was very supportive of all the things that I would try to do and all the things that I did. Imperfect in every way, but who's not, you know? This amp is, I need to formally date it, but it's probably a latter 70s amp. This amp belonged to the father of my customer, and it left the family for some time. It was sold to someone else. And then recently, the son went on a mission to track it down. And forgive me if I'm misstating some of the facts here, but it's my understanding he went on a bit of a journey and ended up locating the new owner of the amp and got it back. This is his dad's amp. His dad's no longer here with us. His dad had passed on some time ago. And he grew up listening to his dad play this amp. He's got his dad's 70s Strat. Now he's got his dad's amp. So he'll have the opportunity, once those two pieces of gear are pardon me, once those two pieces of gear are reunited, for lack of a better phrase, once that gear is reunited, he gets the opportunity to sort of listen to his dad's voice again in a very direct way. So this is a special project, and I'll tell you, this amp is in pretty good shape. It's untouched. It's got two JBL D120Fs in there. The cabinet, the unloaded, the cabinet without the chassis weighs about, it feels about 60 pounds. And then once the thing's put together, this feels like a 95-pound amp. I'm not even joking. This is my bench is incredibly sturdy, but I'm not going to try to put that on top of the bench for the opening shots. That's normally what I do, but I'm not even going to try it. This amp was serviced at the Fender factory, and how do I know that? Because I just saw this. Let me get you guys in here, so I want you to take a look. That sticker says that this amp, or this unit, was serviced at the Fender factory. How cool is that? I'll need to take a peek because I'm pretty much zoomed in. And I'm always curious to see if it's going to be the same tech that worked on my old Pro Reverb, my old 67 Pro Reverb, and then some of the other amps that had come through the shop. A tech with the initials RC, but it's not the guy. I happen to be on the receiving end of some of RC's factory work when he was at Fender. I don't know if the guy's still among us, but how cool if this was one of his last ones that he serviced, but it's not. Super cool. I'm going to try to see if I can identify what work was done, but certainly by now, as the decades have passed, the patina seems quite uniform, and I'm not seeing anything untoward. Now, this amp will need a cap job, no doubt. I'm going to test these. I'm going to test these electrolytics here that are serving cathode bypass duties. But they look good. They're not bulging or leaking, which is great. These are low voltage circuits that these guys are sitting in. Just a handful of volts, a pinch in some instances. So I could be a little more conservative with my approach to the main board. That main board does have some of that 70s wax action on it, though not excessive. At least I'm not looking at any plate loads sunken in to a thick waxy layer, which is what I'm quite accustomed to seeing. I do need to get into that doghouse, and I'm gonna obviously check tolerance for everything, but I'll let you know where it stands after that. I'm looking at an amp that was really well taken care of, if not stored. And it was stored, it looks like it was stored properly. There's just a little bit of oxidation on some of this hardware on a control panel. Some of these jacks, that's nothing. She's gonna clean up beautifully. And this is one of the amps that has bias balance along with hum balance, so that's super handy. One of the power tubes is missing. The owner did notice some noise there and lack of power. That would do it. Hopefully they're still good. I do have a couple new unused 6L6s that, thanks to the magic of that bias, or convenience of that bias balance circuit, I'll be able to put them on there and get them balanced up for service or for use. So hopefully I won't have to get crazy and put in a whole new sleeve of tubes. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But in the meantime, I'm going to get this thing off of the chassis stand and turned over And then we'll take a peek at the doghouse and see what's up down there. And then we can look at the look at some of the date codes on those Schumachers back there or under there. Bye. And we're back, and I was negligent. And this looks like it's a 78. We have 1978 on the output transformer and the power transformer. And we have 1977 issued reverb transformer, which is loose. Nice. Sorry, Brad. Everything's kind of loose. Wow, that output transformer just wants to come off. And why wouldn't it? This is an incredibly heavy amp that's been subjected to decades worth of rough landings, no doubt. Not many guitarists are out there that could really handle the weight of this amp in a ginger manner. I forgot to tell you guys also that this will need a new power cord. It has the same issue that almost all the 70s Fenders have with the red plug end, and that it's separating, exposing the leads to the owner. Very hazardous. My tech, the 453 over here, I don't know if you can see it, this guy, the vertical amplifier, having some issues with that, or maybe the trigger, I don't know. I no longer have time to service these old scopes, and let me show you what I'm talking about. It usually takes 5 seconds to warm up, you see that? Sad times. Sad times. You see that? There you go. See the traces? Makes me sad. But let's take a look under this doghouse. And boy, that bit of insulation, that strip, that weather strip turns into tar. And so yeah, these caps have to go. They're bulgy. Gracious. These guys are super bulgy. These are the old Mallory's in the aluminum cans. It's not the cardboard canned ones. Let me sweep you over there so you can see. Look at this metropolis of filters. We have the buy supply here, and then everything else. I do like when they started that practice of lifting these decoupling resistors off of the board. I like how they started doing that. You can see here, let me grab a chopstick, and I could actually turn my other scope off. You can see here, these dark spots are right above the vents on the anode end of these caps. And that's telling you everything you need to know. That material is about to eject. We need to do a full sweep on these guys. We have these two in series with, hopefully with a pair of balance resistors. These are 220 microfarads in series, so that gives you about 100 microfarads in filtration. You can take these, you can take these down to 70 or 80 and not notice anything negative. And in fact, it makes the amp more lively. These all need to go. I have these appropriate caps coming in by Friday, so I can at least get these guys off of here and do a partial recap in the meantime and stand up this power amp and get a good service going so we can make some progress. But I just wanted to let you guys in on what's going on. And I'm not seeing what was replaced on this particular amp, because it's certainly not the iron, and maybe it was a cap. It could have been a cap, but everything looks beautiful. Certainly. So let me make sure I have power cords. Yeah, so we are good to go. So I'm gonna check you guys later, and I hope this finds you and yours well out there.